Did you know you could use your VA loan in almost any city in the country to buy a property with zero down, not just to live in, but to rent it out? In this video, I'm going to break down 7 cities where that math actually works in your favor right now with real numbers on rent, mortgage payments, and actual cash flow. Hey, if you're watching this and you've served or you are serving right now, you have a benefit sitting in your back pocket that most Americans would need $60,000 to $80,000 to replicate. The VA loan isn't just a home purchase tool. Used right, it's a wealth building machine. The problem is that most veterans either don't know the rules that make this work, or they just bought a single family home, moved in, paid every dime themselves, and then left the strategy on the table. This video is going to fix that. Before we get into the cities, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell. Every week I come out with content built specifically for veterans and first responders who want to stop renting their future and start owning it. My name is Bud Evans. I spent 35 years in the Air Force, 13 years as a law enforcement officer. I served as mayor of Cinnamons in New Jersey, and today I'm an active real estate investor. I mentor veterans and first responders in real estate, and I founded a low-cost, investor-focused property management company. I'm not a guru, I'm an investor, and I don't sell a program. So let's talk about the strategy before we talk about the cities, because I want you to understand how the VA loan makes this legal and repeatable. The city list really means nothing. It's the numbers that matter. So here's what most veterans believe. They believe the VA loan is a tool for buying their primary residence, period. They think they can use it only once. You move in, you pay the mortgage, you build the equity over time. That's the approved mental model. It's not wrong, but it's incomplete. And that incompleteness is what's going to cost you real money every single year. Here's what most veterans don't know. You can buy a duplex, triplex, or quadruplex, that's 4 units, using your VA home loan benefit. The property cannot be used solely for investment or rental purposes. 1 unit has to be your primary residence. That's the rule. You live in 1 unit, you rent out the others, and here's where it gets powerful. Rental income from the other units counts towards your loan qualification at 75% of the market rent. So the tenants help you qualify, and then they help you pay the mortgage once you close. Look, if multifamily is not available in your market or you prefer to start simpler, there is a second path. After a period of genuine owner occupancy, you can rent out the home when you PCS, you relocate, or otherwise have legitimate change in circumstances. PCS orders, deployments, jobs relocation, and medical hardship can all qualify for converting the home to a rental sooner than the 1-year requirement. That means that a veteran buys today, lives in the property, gets new orders, keeps the property as a rental while buying the next one at the next duty station. That's how veterans build a portfolio, not with $60,000 cash, but with a benefit that you've already earned. The vet who doesn't know these rules buys a primary residence, moves in, and pays 100% of the mortgage out of pocket. The veteran who does know these rules buys a duplex, moves into 1 unit, rents the other, and then may cover all of the mortgage payments on day 1. Same loan, same zero down, completely different financial circumstances and outcome. The turning point here is understanding which cities makes the numbers work. Not every market pencils out. You need home prices low enough that the VA payment is beatable by market rent. You need a tenant base that's going to show up consistently, and then near military installations, you get something almost every other market doesn't. You get a built-in tenant pool that gets paid by the government every single month through your BAH, your basic allowance for housing. Those tenants don't lose their job during a recession. They don't disappear. They rotate in on predictable cycles, which means your vacancy risk is structurally lower than in a civilian market. So let me tell you the 7 cities where this actually works right now. Before I get into these numbers, though, a quick word about the veterans that are currently watching. If you want to go deeper on this, connect with the community. It's built by veterans for veterans. That's where the War Room with David Perret is one of the best resources in the country for military real estate investing. I recommend it without reservation because I've been a member here since December of 2019. You can also reach out and book a one-on-one coaching call with me at budevans.com. I do not sell a program. This is not a sales pitch. So let's run the numbers. City 1, Killeen, Texas, near Fort Hood. It's always Fort Hood. It's not Fort Cavazos. The median sale price in Killeen is approximately $225,000, which makes it one of the most VA loan-friendly markets in the country for the size of the base. Fort Hood is the largest armored post in the free world with roughly 38,000 active duty personnel. There's your tenant base. On a $225,000 purchase with a VA loan at current rates around 6.5% on a 30-year term, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is going to run you somewhere around $1,550 to $1,650 a month, depending on your exact tax rate and insurance. The median rent for all the property types in Killeen is $1,250. Now, in a straight single family, those numbers are tight, right? Cash flow is marginal to flat in Killeen on a single family, but here's where the duplex strategy changes everything. Properties in Harker Heights in Nolanville, just north of the base, attract officers and NCOs, senior NCOs. A duplex in that range, purchased at $280,000 to $310,000, with each unit renting at $1,250 to $1,400, generates gross income rental of $2,500 to $2,800 a month against a mortgage around $1,900 to $2,100. You're living in one unit at reduced or zero net cost, while the other unit covers most of your payment. That's the play in Killeen. City 2, Fayetteville, North Carolina, near Fort Bragg. It's not Fort Liberty, it's Fort Bragg. Fayetteville is one of the most attractive military markets in the United States. Fort Bragg has approximately 38,000 active duty service members, with an average rent in Fayetteville, North Carolina being about $1,092 per month. As of mid-2025, it's gone up just a little bit, but not much. The average rent for a two-bedroom in Fayetteville is about $1,298 right now. Median home prices in Fayetteville in the $235,000 to $250,000 range, well within your VA loan territory for most qualified veterans. One note on Fayetteville, the market has surplus rental supply due to the size of the base. So focus on well-maintained properties in safer neighborhoods. Substandard properties are going to sit vacant for a while quality homes are renting out immediately, and that's the operational warning here. In a large military market like this, the bad landlord does not get a pass. The good landlord fills units in days. Your property condition and your management are your competitive advantage here. So here's the strategy in Fayetteville. Purchase a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home for $230,000 to $250,000 and live in it for 12 months. Then convert it to a rental when circumstances change. Or go duplex and live in one unit, rent the other unit at $1,250 to $1,300, and cover 70 to 80% of your monthly payment on day one. City 3, let's talk about Clarksville, Tennessee, near Fort Campbell. Clarksville is consistently underrated as a military real estate market, and that is exactly why it belongs on this list. Tennessee has no state income tax. That matters for your long-term hold. The median sales price for a home in Clarksville is about $308,000. As of early 2026, that's up about 2.8% year over year. The average rent in Clarksville for a 3-bedroom unit is about $1,650 per month. 1-bedrooms are about $1,110, and a 2-bedroom is about $1,268. On a $300,000 VA purchase, your monthly pity payment is going to run you its principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. It's going to be about $2,050 to $2,200 a month. Single-family rental at $1,500 to $1,650 does not fully cover the mortgage on its own, but a duplex in the $340 to $360 range, with each unit at $1,400 to $1,650, that changes the math significantly. The military tenant base at Fort Campbell provides a consistent demand. Clarksville has seen consistent annual appreciation on the low single digits, which adds to your long-term equity picture here. The play here is the same as Killeen. You go duplex, you house hack it, you live in one unit and rent out the other, and let the rental income reduce your effective housing costs to near zero while you build equity in a no-state income tax market. City 4, Jacksonville, North Carolina, near Lejeune. All right, Marines. Jacksonville is the definition of a military-dependent market, and that is both strength and risk. Everyone here revolves around Lejeune and MAS New River. Jacksonville's rental market is heavily influenced by its proximity to Camp Lejeune, which is a major Marine Corps base. The median home sales price in Jacksonville is about $220,000 as of early 25. It's up about 10% year over year, so expect that to increase in 26. The average rent in Jacksonville, North Carolina is about $1,091 to $1,200 a month. 2-bedroom is about $1,200 to $1,300 a month. And at a $2,200 purchase price on a VA loan, your pity payment is going to run about $1,500 to $1,600 per month. On a single family, you're cash flow neutral to slightly negative. On a duplex at the $260,000 to $280,000 range, with units renting $1,100 to $1,250 each, your combined rent at $2,500 a month covers your mortgage with room to work. The operational risk here in Jacksonville is concentration. One base drives the entire market. If the base changes missions or reduces the headcount, your rental market softens, and that's not a reason to avoid it, but it is a reason to be a subject matter expert and stay current on what's happening at the base to maintain your property quality so you can attract the best tenants in the pool. All right, City 5, let's talk about El Paso near Fort Bliss. El Paso is one of the most underappreciated real estate markets in Texas, and it's directly anchored by one of the most important Army installations in the country. The median home price in El Paso ranges from about $255,000 to $265,000, with a year-over-year appreciation of about 1.6 to 1.9%. It's not breaking the bank, but it's steady. El Paso's cap rate on a median price purchase is about 5.56%, among the best in Texas market queue, and the rent is structurally supported by the Fort Bliss housing demand. East El Paso, one of the city's fastest growing zones, has a median home price of about $240 and attracts a wide range of buyers, including all kinds of military families stationed at Fort Bliss. One-bedroom apartments in that area are about $950 a month, with two-bedroom units in the Upper Valley averaging about $1,400 a month. Texas also has no state income tax. El Paso's landlord environment is really favorable to landlords. The entry price point is lower than most Texas metros, which means your payment at $255 with a VA loan purchase is about $1,750 to $1,850 a month based on your pity payment. On a duplex in El Paso, the $290,000 to $320,000 range, units are going to be at about $1,100 to $1,400 cash each. Combined gross rent of about that $2,200 to $2,800 can cover your full mortgage on a property that you bought for zero down. That's the math that helps you build a portfolio. All right, City 6, one of my favorite areas, the Panhandle, Pensacola, NAS Pensacola. Pensacola gives you something the other markets don't on this list. Military demand, a Gulf Coast lifestyle premium, no state income tax, and a buyer's market right now after several years of correction. The average home value in Pensacola is still approximately $264,000. Pensacola offers cap rates in the 5 to 7% range, with average rents about $1,200 to $1,700 depending on the property type and the location. West Pensacola and the Warrington area provide more affordable single-family homes, renting at about $1,400 and $1,700 per month. And those neighborhoods attract steady interest from not only military families stationed at NAS Pensacola, but also short-term rentals. On a $265,000 VA purchase, your pity payment runs about $1,800 to $1,950. A quality single family in the Warrington area at about $1,500 to $1,700 does not fully cover your payment, but it gets you within $200 to $400 of break even while you establish occupancy. Go duplex, and then you flip the equation. Two units renting at $1,400 to $1,600 each, and you're cash flow positive with zero down. The Pensacola rental market has cooled off after a few years, but rapid growth happened, and now it's a stable holding pattern, running about 1 to 2% growth year over year. That's not a warning. That's your entry window. The markets that cooled are where operators are actually buying right now. All right. City 7, Virginia Beach, near Naval Station Norfolk and NAS Oceana. I was stationed down there a while back. Virginia Beach is often the most expensive market on this list, and it earns a spot because of one thing. Military density here is unlike anywhere else in the country. Virginia Beach has the largest concentration of active military personnel outside of the Pentagon, with nearly 100,000 active duty members across multiple branches stationed all across the region. That is not a tenant pool. Oh my goodness, that is a structural rental economy on its own. The average home price in Virginia Beach is about $406,000. That's up about 6.8% year over year. And one-bedroom apartments is they average about $1,600. Two bedrooms are about $1,800 per month. This market does not pencil the same way on a single-family house hack as the others do on this list, unless you're renting the bedrooms. Now, your pity on a $400,000 loan is going to be $2,700 to $2,900 per month. Duplex or triplex is the play here, not a single family, unless you're renting the rooms. And your target area for that is not the oceanfront, it's the neighborhoods like Campbell or areas near the bases where working military families are trying to stay close to the installation without paying for waterfront premiums. On a duplex in the $450,000 to $480,000 range in those neighborhoods, two units are going to rent for about $1,700 to $1,900, and each one of them gives you a rent of about $3,400 to $3,800 against a mortgage that's $3,100 to $3,300. Now you're cash flow neutral to mildly positive on a property in one of the most durable markets in the eastern United States from day one. Virginia Beach is not where you go to maximize your monthly cash flow, but it is where you go for stability, appreciation, and a tenant base that's just not going to disappear. So let's recap your decision framework here. This is your execution checklist, as always, for using a VA loan to generate your rental income. Before you pick a city, confirm that you understand the occupancy rules. Okay, you got to move in within 60 days of closing. You got to plan to occupy the property for at least 12 months to establish intent. If you get orders, then those orders are your legal pathway to convert it to a rental property sooner. Run the duplex math first, not single family math. Single family properties in most of these markets they produce break even or marginal cash flow unless you're renting by the room. Duplexes as small multifamily properties really flip the equation here, and they can really generate positive cash flow from the first day. So use BAH as your rent benchmark. In military markets, your tenant BAH rates, that's going to set your effective rent ceiling and your floor. Know your rate for an E5 with dependents and an O3 with dependents before you make any offer. Screen for base stability. A market that depends on one installation carries concentration risk, right? So research the base mission and know whether it's growing, holding, or shrinking before you buy. Prioritize property conditions in a high inventory military market like Fayetteville or Jacksonville. Substandard properties are going to sit. Quality properties, you're going to rent those out immediately. Your management and your maintenance discipline are really, it's your competitive moat. So verify your entitlement before you close. If you have used your VA loan before, confirm that you have a remaining entitlement with your lender before you commit to a purchase price. Full entitlement means no VA loan limit and no down payment required. Partial entitlement means a little different calculation, and that's okay. Run your pity payment against your actual market rent before you write an offer. Not projected rent, not optimistic rent, actual rent for comps in that specific neighborhood. And do that right now. If you're interested in connecting with other veterans who are doing this at scale, again, check out the War Room with David Perret. It's a veteran real estate community. I highly recommend it to anybody who's serious about building a rental portfolio. For one-on-one coaching, visit budevans.com and book a call with me. Both links are in the description. I do not sell a program. Look, if this video gave you one thing that you can act on, hit the like button, share this with a veteran who needs it, and subscribe so that you don't miss what comes next. Thanks for watching. I'm Bud Evans. Aim high, execute fast. See you on the next one.